the staff raised from the ashes long ago, when the mountains were young and the gods did not yet know the cold grip of fear. Magic entered the world, but it was not the magic of swords or roaring battle cries. It was the magic of whispers and shadows, known as Seer. The first among them was Gulvig. 3 times the gods of Asgard pierced her with spears, and 3 times they cast her into the flames. Yet, each time, she stepped from the ashes unharmed, her eyes reflecting the shifting patterns of fate itself. From that day on, women whose gaze could pierce the mists of time began to wander the roads of Midgard. They were called the Völuvas, wanderers between worlds. A Völva never truly had a home. Her home was the entire world, and her family was the spirits of the wind and stone. When a figure in a cloak trimmed with blue fox fur appeared at a village threshold, in the winter twilight, the people fell silent. They knew, she who sees the threads woven by the Norns at the roots of Yggdrasil had arrived. She would enter the longhouse, leaning on her iron staff. Her gloves were sewn from catskin soft, like the touch of magic itself. She did not sit at the common table. For her, a high platform called a stall was built, so that her head would be closer to the heavens and her thoughts far from earthly trifles. The mystery of Seer, as the ancient songs, the Varloker, began to rise. The Völva would fall into a deep trance. Her spirit would leave her body, taking the form of a bird or a wolf, flying to a place where there is no yesterday or tomorrow. She saw everything, whether the sea would freeze this winter, if the longship would return from the raid, and which blade was destined to touch a chieftain's heart. In those moments, her voice did not sound human. It was the creaking of shifting ice and the rustle of fallen leaves. Even the gods fear the truth. They say that Odin himself, the All-Father, found no peace in his visions. Seeking answers, he mounted his 8-legged steed, Sleipnir, and rode to the very edge of existence. There, in the frozen earth, slept a great seeress in eternal silence. Odin used his darkest arts to wake her. The dead Völva opened her eyes, and her prophecy made even the god tremble. She did not flatter him. She spoke of Ranark, of how the wolf Fenrir would swallow the sun, how the Aesir would fall, and how the world would drown in fire and flood. Do you seek to know more? And what will you do with this knowledge? She asked Odin, before returning to the silence of the grave. Fading into the mist as the years passed, the old gods were forgotten, and different symbols replaced the iron staffs. The Völvas vanished, like morning mist over a fjord. But they say that if you hear a strange rhythmic tapping of wood against stone in the deep forest, or see a woman whose gaze looks right through you, know this. The threads of fate are still being spun, and somewhere in the shadows of history, the Völva is still whispering her prophecies.